All right. Now I want to deal with the only fight on the card. And I want to start out with her post fight celebration. Now, I don't know why she decided to do that because when this was done at the Olympics, I thought it was very goofy and cringe. So I thought this was cringe. Why always cringe the post fight interview? I will never understand. But Casey ONeill won the fight. And here's the thing. I said a while ago that Casey ONeill actually makes smart decisions when she strikes, like with her hands, with her fists. And I feel like, you saw it here. Santos is not a skilled boxer. And ONeill wanted to box. She wanted to box with Santos because she saw Santos had very poor boxing. And like I said, the only problem with Casey ONeill, she has no power and she could have better speed. But she also has a problem with leading. She leads with her head. A lot of girls got this problem. They lean in with their head, with their big fat head. And a lot of times she's not getting full extension on her shots. It's almost like she doesn't judge distance properly or measure distance properly before she throws a punch. A lot of the times, a lot of her shots that a lot of her shots that land are like Raggedy and Cricket. But just look at Santos' face. She took a lot of flush shots to the face, Santos, but she wasn't marked up at all. There was no bruising. I didn't see one, not even a slight bruise, no abrasion. It just looked like she had a sweaty face that was kind of puffy, here and there. But I can't even make out exactly where I'm seeing the puffiness. ONeill ain't got no real. Her shots are not that hard. But Santos looked terrified of these punches. And Casey ONeill wanted to box pretty much the whole fight. Now y'all have noticed a lot of these fighters are here recently are opting to box or strike. They want to strike. Here recently, fighters have been wanting to strike. It's been like a striking contest the past 4 fights in the UFC. There was 3 on the previous card. They were all like striking contests for the most part. Same with this one. And mostly with the fists. And Santos got very poor boxing. She'll throw a haymaker every now and then, but it's usually raggedy and telegraphed. It's always raggedy and telegraphed. And like I said, Casey got it. Now people laughed at me. People laughed at me when I said that she actually makes smart decisions. Casey ONeill, when she fights. Just too often her head is like going in with the punch. These fighters throw a punch and a headbutt at the same time for the most part. They'll be leaning in, they'll want to lean in, and they're doing too much leaning. But ONeill was mainly known as a wrestler. Wrestler, grappler, ground fighter. But so is Santos for the most part. That's how Santos wins her fights. So we see this a lot with fighters who have success on the ground. When 2 fighters like that fight, A lot of times it's a striking contest. So, of course, ONeill would be much better than Santos. Now, Santos looked bad in this fight. But good for her for making weight. She actually making 125. So I was wrong about her missing weight. I thought she missed weight again here soon. Because she missed weight, remember, at Bantamweight. Missed weight at Bantamweight. So I'm like, huh? And I thought she was going to stay at Bantamweight. So when I saw her at 125, I'm like, oh, okay. I was surprised. But she's made weight just fine. But she could have looked better than that. Man, she looked scared. Every single time a fighter left the pocket, it was Santos. And I was saying this about another fight that there's a lot of dispute with. What fight was that? I think it was Joanna. Was it Joanna against Weili? It's like every single time a fighter left the pocket, it was Santos trying to get out of there. Get up out of there. She was being marched down. Santos was being marched down. And I'm like, why is she moving away so much? You know that's bad optics. You don't want your opponent to be given credit as the aggressor. What you running away for? I'm like, man, look at your face. These shots can't hurt that bad. She's willing to take your shots. She walking forward like that. You better stand there and bang it out with her or something. But she didn't have the skill to bang it out in case he wanted to box with her. She didn't have the skills. You notice how the combinations was killing Santos. It was the combination punching, believe it or not, from ONeill that was killing Santos. And I've redeemed myself. I redeemed myself. Again, people laughed at me when I said that. I don't think the video's up now. But people laughed when I pointed this out. But I saw it, and you saw it tonight. Santos, if you watch her face, she was terrified of the combinations. She could anticipate the lead shot. She'd have up her guard or whatever. It was when she knew combinations was coming. You could almost see her face went, and like she was just unprepared. She is not equipped to be a counter striker and deal with combination strikers. She don't really throw combinations herself. So I thought that was an easy victory. Easy victory for Casey ONeill. The rump shaker, we didn't get a rump shaking post-fight dance. Instead, we got a cringe. Oh, why did she do that? Now remember, that lady who did that goofy breakdancing at the Olympics represented Australia. That's what motivated Casey ONeill. That's part of the motivation, but I don't care what it was. Could have saved that one. Because I was offended by that. Because that lady at the Olympics, her whole point in doing that was to mock breakdancing. That's all that was. And everybody knows it. She was there to mock break dancing. And it's probably the last time you'll see it in the Olympics. It seemed like it was brought to the Olympics just to, be made a mockery of. And that wasn't real breakdancing. I don't know how many of y'all saw that. That wasn't real breakdancing. That was acrobatics and spinning. That's what you do when you can't dance. And all you can do is spin on your back and stuff like that. But, yeah, how about your boy? Yeah, I have to talk about breakdancing. How about your boy Israel? Went out there and got served. He got served. Why did he cry? It was so hard to watch. I couldn't even watch the video. I'm like, oh, wow. He's having a mental breakdown. He's having a mental breakdown before a fight. Definitely not good. Went in there and Dricus took everything Israel had to offer, beat him up with his fists, and then submitted him. Israel need to retire. You got a gift getting that title shot anyways. You weren't supposed to get that title shot. Sitting out, it seemed, waiting for the title shot. Shouldn't have done that. But Israel has always been very disrespectful to, Dricus. That was a goofball, cornball move on his part. And he's been disrespectful to Americans, particularly black Americans. And I get sick of people trying to lump him in as a black American. Please stop doing that. Other than that, I enjoyed the card. I didn't pay for the pay-per-view. And I thought these two did pretty well. But in Casey ONeill really beat this girl up. She, marching her down the whole fight, riddling her with combinations, got her running away, running for her life. Then towards the end, got her down on the ground, started beating on her pretty good. So yeah, that's a good notch up under her belt. That her opponent Santos, I think, got a pretty healthy social media following. That'll probably help Casey ONeill. So does Casey ONeill, as far as I remember, right? She's over 100,000. So yeah. Dricus looked dead tired. I thought he was about to drop from a body shot. And he was winging punches and reaching and going all out of position, leaving himself open. I thought he was going to catch something. But Israel's getting tired. And Israel's not a counter striker. I've said this before a long time ago. He's not a counter striker. I don't even know about ring rust. He did have ring rust. That only made it worse. But I've always criticized him not being a counter striker. He's not a counter striker. He's a lead striker. So when Dricus was throwing all these shots, nothing was coming back. Dricus would just throw some more. Eventually, he's going to find his face, found him, start beating on him. And I think Israel's a little dizzy from those shots. Landed a few more, was able to take his back. But all that talking, all that running your mouth, man, MMA is poorly regulated, if you ask me. And I can't help but to compare it to boxing. A lot of these fighters taking real high-profile fights after long layoffs is crazy to me. You should have used the boxing standard, if you ask me. Those fighters know when to take easy fights. And if you lose to a fighter that you're supposed to beat, one of your easy fights, then you're just not prepared for the high-profile fights. And people don't think anything of it, especially if you come back from a long layoff. They'll just say, oh, you lost to that bum because of the long layoff. Go get yourself together. Go fight another bum. And hopefully you can start fighting some more. So, yeah. Israel is not, most importantly, he does not see himself as no black American. And I know I don't have no problem with Nigerians. I just need people to know he supports certain behaviors that we typically don't here in America. Yeah, Casey, I don't think she's overweight. But I said this before. The thing about her, she looks like she's never taken steroids. I said this before. Talking about Casey ONeill, and I said that a number of girls in the UFC look like this. And you can tell, well, I don't know. Maybe because you can take some stuff, some illegal stuff, and it not, make your body look hard, make it look like a man. Right? But a lot of times it happens when women use those drugs, the enhancement drugs, they start to look like men. And they start to get hard. Their muscles get a lot more round. Their delts pop out. get a lot more round. Their lats start to get beefier. Their traps, everything starts popping out. She don't look like she's ever used steroids in her flipping life. She's still built like a McDonald's employee. She's still built like a McDonald's, just like Erin Blanchfield. Built like a cheerleader, or I won't even say a track runner. You take a good look at those track runners. They are solid, especially the sprinters. Solid, but she's extremely soft. And this was, this is back in May. But this is out of season. So yeah, some girls just look like, but I think that's part of the reason why she don't got that much power. A lot of these other girls, especially girls who known to have real good power, look at their physique. Look at how they're built. Look at how they're built. Who's known for great power? Not that many of them. Jessica Andrade. Look at her. Look at her body. Look at her body. Weili Zhang. Look at her. Look at Weili's arms. Everything. Her forearms, bicep, tricep, and delts, all beefy. Weili's arms. I mean, pretty much all of them. You've never seen no girl with no little noodle arms with tremendous power, with noteworthy power, ever. And somebody, you know why somebody made fun of me? They made fun of me because I said that if I could train any fighter, it would be Casey ONeill. If I could mold and shape and try to reform or improve any fighter, if I could pick a fighter that I could personally make the most improvements on, I said I'd pick Casey ONeill because she don't really seem broken strength-wise. Strength-wise, speed-wise. Really strength-wise, man. I don't know what it is. Listen, man, I trained a few girls in my days. And, trying to break them is a challenge. They will put that weight down before their muscles are truly broken down. And if they intend on doing that, there's nothing you can do to stop them. You are the only one who can really tear your muscle fibers down. Your trainer can't really do it. You want to put it down, you put it down, you put it down. So I don't know if that's been done to her. I was just saying that if I could make her do whatever I say, I'd break her down. She need muscle. She need power. She needs shoulders, man. She need chest, delts, tricep. She need to train her arms till it hurt, you know what I'm saying, and break them down. Now, maybe she already done it, and maybe the fact that she's not on enhancement supplements, that's why they can't develop any further. That's just how it is. Some girls got to accept that. Yeah. But yeah, good for her. There's a website here I want to go on real quick. Let me see here. Because WMMA Rankings is getting it popping. They including highlights. Some good highlights here, right? See how the combinations was just killing her, and she just wanted to box with her all night, nothing but boxing. See how I told y'all a long time ago, Casey ONeill is a counter striker, and I don't know, like I was saying, I don't know if Casey is thick. Like she seemed like she's in proper shape. She just kind of looked natural. She just looked real natural. Girls, the more natural they look softer. You know what I'm saying? She looks very soft, even inside the cage. Compare her to like Kayla Harrison, how she look at 135, like ridiculously muscled. Whereas Casey ONeill, really Santos to a degree, they're not all bulked up like that. I thought she was about to finish her there. And she was landing heel strikes to Santos' groin, directly on her groin. What was that all about? That's not legal. Why didn't the referee stop that? She was hitting her right in between the legs. That was insane. Was I the only one who saw that, who noticed that? In real time, I'm like, she's hitting her right in the crotch. What is this? Molly McCann was hit in the crotch recently. She got a timeout. They gave her the option, right, to get her to recover, just like they do with the men. So if it's against the rules to land crotch strikes while you're standing, why is it legal when you're laying on the ground? And you got your legs spread her legs are spread wide open. That's why she was heel kicking her right there. She knew her crotch was right there. I'm like, what is this? Listen, man. Listen. Y'all got to do better than that. Y'all got to do better than that. What'd you expect her to do? To get a knockout from heel strikes to the crotch? That was ridiculous. Now, maybe I'm seeing things, all right? Maybe I'm getting old. I am getting up there. Okay, but look. What is that? And then what did you think you was hitting at that moment? She hitting her square in the crotch. Casey ONeill, don't ever do that again, please. I know I am nobody for you to listen to. I'm just another YouTuber. Because for whatever reason, referee didn't want to say nothing. And maybe the next referee is not going to want to say anything. But like, what kind of results are you expecting to get from that kind of strike? Right? What were you trying to damage? What were you trying to inflict damage on exactly? Wow. But good for Casey ONeill. I'm glad Santos was not hurt. And they both go on to fight another day. Lord. You need more rules. You need more regulation. I think that's just how it is. Not just because it's females, but I don't know. Have men tried to do that before? I would imagine if a man, is like, he winces in pain, the ref would stop it. Maybe that's what it took. Maybe she would have had to actually get hurt for, I don't know, that was crazy. Okay, I didn't need to see that. Please don't show nothing like that again. Now, recently they made a title fight that I'm looking forward to, because I want to see if anybody can shut Juliana Pena up. Because she's the perfect villain. Pena is still the number one promoter at Bantamweight. The number one mouthpiece. The top dog as far as, promoting a fight and talking up a fight. She stands alone. All these other bantamweights are kind of boring. So listen, that's just what you get. That's the type of appeal you get when you're willing to, and you have real, genuine charisma. A lot of times, Juliana talks. I don't think she's putting on an act. She's being herself. It's just that some people can just be themselves and still be captivating. Still be a character. They're just naturally characters. A lot of people are like that. Genuine people. Right? But she's still annoying. You still want to see if somebody can shut her up. She's talking like she's light years above everybody else. Okay, let's see. I think it's difficult to walk through Raquel Pennington, even though her style is boring, in the eyes of most fans, okay? In the eyes of most fans. but she still manages to get you up against the fence and make it boring. Fighters can't get her off of them. Okay, well, she still wins fights. And that's all that matters. But I'm going to be watching closely and see what happens with that. There's been a few fights that's been made here recently. Macy Barber's ducking. Macy's ducking. She's ducking. I wasn't looking forward to this. Opponent change for Rose. She was supposed to fight Macy Barber. They had already talked that up. As soon as we get a fight based on real, genuine hostility, hostility, it don't happen. That's how UFC loses out. You better off postponing it. Get a different main event. Because y'all not even promoting, you don't promote WMMA or MMA period on a grassroots level. The true fans and those who are not really fans, they will look forward to it if there's some genuine dust up, animosity. And there is. Barber's running her mouth. Rose called her out. Hey, let's fight. And at the moment, Barber had almost probably forgot that she had said something. You remember? Barber did something real weird. She uploaded something to Instagram, a photo with, it had a bunch of fighters in it, Rose was in it, and she crossed all their faces off. I think it was the girls that she had defeated already. And circled Rose. Real weird. Something out of like you'd see out of a horror movie or something. And Rose never responded. When Rose went to 125, she simply called her out and said, and reminded her of it. I'm like, okay, that's pretty clever. That was clever. And I put stock and I valued that. And I was about to talk this fight up. Now I'm disappointed. Yeah, you up there, UFC, y'all slap anything together. Slap any old fight together. Y'all got to do better. Everybody got to do better. Who wins? Who knows? I think they both got a chance. It won't surprise me if Rose lose. I don't know. I have an easy time. Rose seemed pretty hard to stop on the ground, though. Even for high-level ground fighters. Yeah? So I can't really say that it's a definite submission win for Erin Blanchfield, but I could see Erin winning by submission. Maybe not outstriking Rose, but, maybe. I believe she could have success even striking with Rose. Just that Erin gets hits a lot. She gets hit a lot. And I'm telling you, she got to do something about that. She better put her elbows up or something. You're going to have a short career getting lumped up like that. Move your little head. Put your little arms up. Put your arms up. Put your hands up. Get a better turtle guard. Got to protect yourself. Going in there against fighters, high-level strikers like that. Manon was touching her up. A lot of good strikers up here in this division. Got to be careful with that. But I'm not going to make a pick yet. I need to be careful with that. When is this? November 2nd. I got time. I want to be careful with that. I don't want to look stupid here. Yana has moved up. I think she's top 10 now. Good for her. That right? Yeah. She's number 10. She has cracked the top 10, but, it's still not that interesting. Bantamweight is just so dead right now. It's dead. The only possible life is Kayla Harrison, if you ask me. She has to stay undefeated. If Kayla Harrison loses, the bantamweight remains dead, no matter who gets the belt. Even if it's Juliana. If Juliana get the belt and then beats Kayla Harrison, the division is still dead. I think only Kayla Harrison can revive that division. And then, if she gets the belt and makes a few defenses, she's going to need quality opponents. But, honestly, I believe that's the best scenario. Because all of the fighters that Kayla hasn't fought, we probably look forward to. Because she still has not been proven at the UFC level. She's about to fight Ketlin Vieira. But if she beats Ketlin, then beats Pena or Pennington, I would watch her. I'd look forward to her against Aldana, against Silva, the other bantamweights that she hasn't fought yet. Bantamweights have been in the UFC for a long time. I would look at that as a fresh run for Kayla Harrison. A quality run. I'll put it like that. A quality run. I don't care if she's fighting Carol Rosa. Carol Rosa, a quality fighter. Same for Norma Dumont. I look forward to all the fights and am looking forward to all the fights from Kayla Harrison. Because like I said, that undefeated streak means something. It means something. And if you ask me, if it's undefeated in the UFC, I treat that as an undefeated record almost, It's a different level. So if you can stay undefeated in the UFC, hey, you deserve, and you do. You get that respect. If you ask me, you get that respect. Even if you're taking some L's before you got into the UFC. All right. So, yeah, I think that's, they made this fight, right? And I'm going to take Jasmine, even though she might lose. She might be able to wrestle Ariane up. Ariane seems to have some issues, See, look how she built, man. Look at her bicep, dude. There ain't nothing there. It looked like her bicep muscles been removed. Surgically removed. Ain't got no nan muscle, no abs. She ain't got no solid nothing. Just soft everywhere. And she punched like it. But the girl makes, if you ask me, she's smart. She's as far as her IQ, even just as a boxer, but really as a striker in general, she has above average IQ, if you ask me, which is weird. I expected her. I looked at her as a wrestler. That's how she came in the UFC as. So you know how, first impression, you can't get over the first impression. That was the first impression. Another wrestling chick, another ground chick. Garbage on the feet. She's not going to do nothing significant till she gets you on the ground. And now she looked like she want to box everybody. Okay. I will watch. I just want to know how many push-ups she does in the morning. Right? Push her till she do 100 without stopping. That's just how it need to go. Oh yeah. Dricus. Yeah, I spoke on Dricus taking that belt. And Israel is he's very cringe and strange to me. Crying before the fight and all of the suspect things he's always done. It just has been always cringe. And it was a cringe build up. It was so cringe. I didn't take the time to even look at the UFC posts or videos or nothing. I'm like, what, dude crying? Okay, no. I don't care if you had a legit reason to cry, man. You don't, no. You're supposed to be redeeming yourself, and you already acted out inside the cage in a cringe way before like when they did the face-off. That was crazy. It was disgraceful how he used Black American lingo. So everybody, connected him with us. It's like, yeah, nah. This is just listen, Drickus I thought was about to get knocked out. He was in there tired, and I think if they fight again, he could get knocked out. He was getting hurt to the body. Drickus, it looked like to me. He was getting hurt to the body. Taking too many shots, winging too many shots. He lucky he didn't get clipped himself. But he took everything Israel had to offer. And Israel had all the opportunity to do his thing. He had a striking contest for most of the fight. Did he not? He couldn't put Drickus. He had a tired Drickus in a striking contest for at least 3 solid rounds. Couldn't capitalize on it. So Drickus took everything he had to offer. Stood there, struck with him, and started beating him up with his fists. And then choked him out. It's a wrap for Israel. I think he should retire. If you ask me, he has embarrassed himself too much to redeem himself. Just hang him up, man. You made plenty of money. You can retire. You can afford to retire. Don't take more whoopings. This is MMA. You can't be no striking specialist only. It's not happening. It's hard to recreate Joanna, and even she started getting mauled later in her career. So listen, man, I respect completeness over all other types of fighters. That's just what it is. In MMA, I want you to be a great ground fighter. I'm not going to rock with no mostly striker. I'm just never going to do that. But, Pereira's doing good. But he seems to have that Joanna-like takedown defense. I mean, it's possible. Don't get me wrong. But it just seems very rare to me to have that real stellar, top-notch takedown defense and get the belt and make multiple title defenses. But Drickus has striking, and he has ground game, real good wrestling. And I think it's like almost disrespectful to think you can go in there without being a specialist in the ground, clinch, wrestling. I respect that type of fighting. And you see what put Wei Li above everybody else so fast. She started to focus on that. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, ground fighting. And once she did, now she almost seemed unstoppable. Suarez don't even really have the stand-up. She got, got to respect that ground game. But that division getting more difficult. It's probably a good time to hang him up. Still got Pereira hanging around. And, he'd made enough money. Hang him up, dude. Focus on your YouTube channel. He'll be able to make money off that for the rest of his life. Become a commentator. Yeah, do that. Focus on doing that before you get hit in the head so much that you can't really use your mouthpiece. You don't let that happen now. Let Drickus do his thing. Let's see how long. And the real African. Did he say that? Real African champ? See, that's the thing. He had all of Africa looking. All of black Africa, I'll say. I'm talking about Israel. Watching in hopes that he'd be able to take down what they saw as, I'm sure some of the black Africans on Drickus' side. A lot of people in Africa, they don't really, a lot of them don't rock with Israel. They look at some of the things he does as suspect, but that's a whole nother video. But I enjoyed the card. I didn't pay for it. I watched it. I was satisfied. And like I said, with the women, they're doing it now. That fight was as best as it could be between two fighters with not that much power. Because it was primarily a striking contest, it was as good as it could be. So I was satisfied. There's no way nobody's getting no knockout. Santos knockout, no. And Casey ONeill definitely ain't knocking nobody out. Right. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Drickus, he get tired, but he still got a lot of power while he's tired. He he's got those lungs where he get winded and then gets his wind back real quick and can explode again. And again and again, and still has his wrestling strength. That's what killed Israel. Israel was folding to the strikes. He couldn't deal with Drickus' strikes anymore. Drickus was doing that all night. He was throwing those types of punches all night. The only difference was Israel was getting tired, and he found it easier to hit Israel. So he just kept hitting him again. He just broke him. That's basically what it was. Drickus broke him. The wrestling made Israel tired, helped him make him tired. And he was, listen, man, if you're a high-level striker, if you're going to primarily be a high-level striker, you better knock him out. You get 3 solid rounds, striking contest against a guy who's supposed to be a wrestler. It ain't supposed to be on your level as a striker. You better put some serious damage on him. Drickus had like a cut over his eye, that was it. Wasn't no serious damage, nothing like that. I didn't think Drickus was even stunned or buzzed or nothing like that. You better have a more formidable offense than that. He knocked out Pereira, but he really don't show power like that. Israel really don't show power like that. So, yeah, that's another thing. You want to be primarily a striker, you better have some serious power, if you ask me. That was my criticism with Joanna. Throwing a lot of punches, but they're all little noodle arm punches. You're not really putting no real damage on your opponent. Somebody hit you hard, now they knock you in a different location. That's some real power. But, yeah, I'll leave it there. Wish you all a good night, and I will see y'all on the next live stream.